drive the passion and the goals. And there are characteristics of a team, which is they must have a common purpose and also have a complementary skills. Each team member must complement the others to carry out a specific task. It is our purpose that determine the kind of team we are building. And you made reference to Miles Monroe. He said, if the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. We must also, and in that complementary skills, you outlined the frontliner skills and the supporting skills. There are people who are more talented than others, while there are others who are just to support the frontliners, but all must work towards a specific task. And we should also know it's that a good team is not in competition. Every team member is not in competition with each other. When everyone is fighting to be the best, there is always a problem with that team. So no one is in competition. Everyone should work hand in hand to carry out a specific task. And interactions among team members should be of great importance too. Shared resources, that is, it might be mentally, it might be financially. So there are also benefits of teamwork, which are results are multiplied. We achieve more when there is teamwork. We get support. There's always a decrease in the loneliness of leadership. You are not always lonely as a leader. It protects the leader that if there's any danger coming up front because of the activeness of other team members, the leader will be aware of it because everyone's eyes is out there. It also releases the talent and strength of every team member. Everyone gets to increase in strength and in knowledge, and it allows for mentoring of team members. There are also the cost of teamwork, loss of independence, concentration. The leaders have to adjust to team members' reasoning. It doesn't have to be just the leader that gives all the opinions, all the decisions. We also have to adjust a bit to team members' reasoning and opinions. Leaders also have to share responsibilities and reward for success. And more, sir. Thank you. I think that.
Thank you very much for that wonderful summary from last class. Thank you so much. I'm just going to take us through the slide for today so we can drive as fast as we can. We looked at some basic things yesterday, like she has highlighted, which was crucial. The question we asked yesterday was, what is teamwork? And we also try to help us see the difference between teamwork and team building, which we said that teamwork focuses on the functionalities of the team, while team building focuses on the formation of the team. Just like she has said, we talked about an ideal team has to be clearly defined, because assembling people together doesn't mean that it's an ideal team. So we said that an ideal team is a group of persons possessing the same spirit and working together to achieve a common goal. Then we looked at teamwork involves a group of people with complementary skills, like she mentioned, people who are committed to a common purpose, performance goals, and people who hold themselves mutually accountable. They hold themselves mutually accountable to whatever team or assignment they have been given to as a team. So we also looked at the characteristics of a team, We said number one, before a team can be formed, there must be a purpose. It's the purpose that determines the structures of the team. Then we also said a team that is ideal and effective, that every team member must complement each other with their individual skills. Then we talked about interaction, that there must be consistent interaction amongst the team members. And we also talked about shared resources and consensus decision making. That if you must have an effective team in place, there must be consensus decision making, which we talked about, that when you belong to a team, you should understand that you are not just alone, that there are decisions you want to make, you have to seek the opinion of your team members, except in situations where it's urgent and it's a matter of between life and death, that you can make decisions quickly. Then we talked about synergy, where everyone brings their own ideologies together to ensure that things are done in the right direction. We talked so much about the benefit, which our sister mentioned, that when you work in teams, results are multiplied, you have better quality and accuracy of decisions, and you have support from your team members. Then we said it protects the leader and it releases talents and the strength of the team members. We said something yesterday that it allows for mentoring of the team members. So when you work in teams, you learn so much from people. All right. So team is not about you, it's about what others have to bring on board, and you learn from it. Like we said yesterday, that every building costs you something. It costs you finance, it costs you time, and some other things. So in building a team, it also have its price. The price in building a team, number one, you must lose your independence. That means you understand that you belong to a team. You cannot just make decisions by yourself, for yourself. You must always consider your team members' preferences. All right. For example, you as a minister, you live close to the church. All right. And your house is just a stone throw from the church. In some ministries, they have a parsonage. The pastor and the family lives close to the church. So, and because you live close to the church, doesn't mean that you can close any time of the day. You must consider the members of your team or the key leaders who are coming from far. So when you have meetings, you should be able to close in time so that they can be able to get home and be able to do other things. But some people don't consider others. They just think about themselves, that because they are there, everybody has to be there. When it comes to teamwork, if you want to get a cooperation of the people, you must consider other members' preferences, what they would prefer, and hopefully find a way to connect it to the overall goal. What we said, as a team leader or a team builder, you must understand that you have to adjust to some reasonings of the people you are working with, especially when you are working with people from different nationality, different background, and somehow you discover that they are thinking differently from the way you think. So as a team player, you must learn to adapt, all right, to how others are thinking amongst your team. All right, so we talked about the stages of team development, which we mentioned 5, and forming, storming, norming, performing, and transforming stage. I don't have to explain all of this, but they are all ways that a team is built up. That's how a team is developed. All right, and there was something I talked about yesterday about the storming stage. That when you assemble a team, there's always a storm that comes to the team. That's when there will be so much disagreement. That's when you find people who probably have their own opinion. That's when we get to know each other's preferences. And at that time, the team, there will be strange relationship, because there will always be conflicts. People will always be misunderstood. That is a point where a team has to metamorphose from stormy into normal, where everyone now understands each other. So every team goes through the process, especially when you have a project that will take you some time. All right, like marriage relationship, every marriage goes through a stormy stage where their individual differences are being expressed. And this is something that is also very crucial in our leadership voyage. Then we talked about building effective teams. You try to deal with smaller groups, all right? And we talked about something very, very crucial on this slide is that for you to have an effective team, you must establish clear approach to teamwork. You must ensure that people know what to do and how to do it, all right? Because when people don't know what to do and how to do it, there will always be conflicts. So you must define how things are done in the team that is appropriate, okay? So we talked about responsibilities and all that yesterday. And we said for you to be able to build an effective team, you must have a SMART goal, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and a goal that has a time frame. So people should be able to know when they are making progress as they are working on a project as a team. So it's very crucial that when you build a team, you must allow the goals to be clear enough and let the people know when they are making progress. All right. So we talked about perspective briefly yesterday. I didn't spend so much time on that. I said I will continue from there. Perspective, when we talk about people's perspective, it's very important that you understand what we mean. Perspective has to do with members understanding the reasons behind their participation on the team and how the team fits within the organization. Perspective is very, very important because when people's perspective differs in a team, it creates unnecessary arguments. When people's perspective is not in line, it creates division. So when a team is assembled, you must allow people to express themselves so you can put them in the right perspective so that they will know their roles and they will know how they are fitting into the organization or into the church policies. Because team members need to know not only where their team fits, but how the team strategy fits in the total scheme of plans and success goals, mission, principles, vision, and values. So they should understand that, for example, the ushering department should understand that they are not just there to count money, all right? They are there to ensure that the value or the core values of the church, which for example is integrity, they are there to ensure that integrity is being upheld. You know, like I tell some persons who controls church finances, you know, just like a church closed probably is a growing church. Then from the offering, you are taking money from the offering to buy pure water. You are taking money from the offering. You are making change from the offering. You know, you think it's just about you. You are giving the ministry a name that they don't handle the resources they bring to church adequately. So the ushers should be able to understand that, hey, here we want to work with principles. We want people to believe that we have integrity in what we are doing. So you don't even count church offering publicly because it's a sacred thing. So sometimes we do things as if we are just not part of the whole picture. So an organization or an institution that wants to build an effective team must work on the perspective of the team members. And the next thing that is so crucial here is dedication. Dedication, this involves the willingness of team members to participate on the team and seeing their mission as important. You may allow people to be dedicated to the goals or to the team, all right? So when people are not willing, it creates problem. So for you to be able to achieve this, you must the visions must be shared with team members in ways that we compel them. For people to dedicate themselves to a cause, there must be a compelling, there must be something that they are connecting with in the vision. So most times when you don't share the vision appropriately, it becomes difficult for the people to be willing. The Bible says that in the days of his power, the people shall be willing. Now, there's a power of communication, not just supernatural power. There are times you communicate, you have this ability to drive this vision to the people, and you see the willingness in them to want to commit to it. You don't beg for commitment in a team. If you want to have an effective team, people must be willing. They must be willing to give their all to see that the goal is achieved. The dream and direction of the team should be presented in such a way that other people want to share and follow. This is because the leadership vision goes beyond writing organizational charts. Now, if you want to build an effective team, you must understand that you need to learn how to communicate the vision. You need to learn how to drive the vision into the people. And you must ensure that you make the vision easy to understand. Some people, their visions are complicated, and that is the reason. So the next thing I want to talk about tonight is the capacity. Now, when you assemble a team, you must build the capacity of the team. Capacity involves discovering your strength and weakness. When you bring up or when you build up a team, you must allow people to discover their strength and their weaknesses, and you must also allow people to go through self-discovery. Now, self-discovery is very crucial in building an effective team. People must come to a point to discover who they are, what they can do, and what they cannot do, so that you don't give people responsibilities beyond their capability. And in so doing, they start performing below par. So you must understand that you need to develop emotional intelligence and social intelligence. To have an effective team, every member must grow through the process of emotional intelligence and social intelligence. Emotional intelligence is very crucial, because as long as you belong to a team, people will hurt you. People will say things. People will go against your will. People will go against your preference. You know, we have had people who, when they are obstructed, they withdraw. They can be very zealous. They can be very hardworking. They can be very determined. But the moment they have an issue with any member of the team, they withdraw their service. Such a person needs to develop himself emotionally. Because sometimes you have good intention, but somehow somebody is misinterpreting your good intention. So when you do not develop yourself to understand that, hey, people can have conflict, but it doesn't affect the overall vision, then you can continue to manage your conflict with the person and still pursue the vision. So the social intelligence is very, very crucial. When you are building a team, it means that you must be able to relate with people outside your team. You must be able to relate with people outside your church. The reason why some churches are having problems is because they don't have social intelligence. They can only relate with people who are part of their denomination. They can only relate with people who are Africans. For some of us who live in Europe, you discover that most of our churches are filled up with Africans. Because when people who are not Africans comes into our gathering, they find it difficult to connect. All our songs are African songs. We drum, we dance. We want to do things in our own cultural way, and that means that we lack social intelligence. Social intelligence is when you are able to connect with people. So you need to build your capacity, because it's very crucial if your team must break through the rank and file. I'll talk about contract. And contract is like a team understanding that they have a vision to accomplish, and they will do everything to accomplish that vision, irrespective of the hurdles, irrespective of the challenges. Because sometimes when you find that there are challenges and people begin to go their ways, they try to start blaming each other, is because they don't understand that being part of a team is like a contract. That when we fail, we all fail together. Nobody wants to take the glory. Nobody wants to point an accusing finger to someone else. This is why we failed. As a team, we must all understand that we are in it. And if one person fails, every other person fails. We talked about resources, and we said team members must feel that the resources, strategies, and support needed to accomplish the stated mission are available. And according to Robbins in 1998, he affirms that teams need access resources such as money, time, equipment, technology, people, and information for them to operate. Now, when you build a team, try to give them the enabling environment to succeed. You assemble a team and you refuse to give them those requirements, those basic requirements for them to succeed, then you end up seeing that they are not performing. So there are major tasks in team building. Number one, cooperation. Number two, communication. Number three, creative improvement. Number four, responsibility and accountability. Number five, harmonization. Number six, and cultural change. Now, when you build a team in the professional level, you must first of all take the team members to a point of where each member of the team cooperates. And that can only be possible when there is effective communication, consistent and constant communication among themselves. Then creative improvement, which has to do with your own drive for training. You must keep training the team for them to be able to deliver. Like is said popularly, that the leadership, everything rises and falls on leadership. So if you do not train the people, don't blame them. So you must keep improving them. You must keep helping them to improve in their emotional intelligence and in their social skills. You must also develop a system where there's responsibilities and accountability, where people take responsibility for their failure, where people take responsibility for anything that happens within the team. Accountability is also very, very crucial. The people will not be able to do well when they don't account for the assignment they have been given to do. Then try to harmonize the differences, the individualities, try to connect. As a team leader, your job is to see how to connect each person together. Even though in their individuality, try to find the connectives. Then finally, cultural change. This is a difficult task to achieve. But if you are consistently working on the cultural change, then everybody will fit into the culture. Now, as a team, every team has their own culture. Every team should have the way they do their things. When you belong to a team, you must first understand the culture of the team. So that is why it is the team leader that builds a culture for the team. So if there is no culture, then you cannot regulate how people should operate. If there is no culture, you cannot achieve the goal that you have in mind. There are different types of teams, which I know you know. We have sports teams like football, rugby, basketball. These are teams. In all of these, you need to understand that you need to work together. Then we have marriage teams. Husband and wife coming together is a team. Then we have Federal Executive Council team. Like in Nigeria, this is our president. He works with teams. They are called Federal Executive Council of Nigeria. These are people who come together to make decisions. Then we have school management and team staff of a school. Now, these are people that determines what happens in the schools. So the team that you are in, the type of team you are in determines the kind of approach that you actually deploy. So there are different forms of team. We have team of individualists, we have factional teams, we have conflict avoiding team, and we have the indecisive team. Now, the team of individualists, maybe some of you may have been part of it. The team of individualists is a team where everybody does what he or she feels is right. Nobody wants to interfere in what somebody else is doing. That kind of a team is not the best. Nobody is interested in what you are doing. Everybody feels what you are doing is the best. When you ask anybody who I'm getting right, say, yeah, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. That is a team of individualists. A team where people don't discuss the overall purpose of the team. So when we talk about team, we must understand that it is not just about we are assembling people. Please, can you see my screen? Hello, brethren, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, but it's not showing what you're teaching.
Oh, really? Okay. I think I have to share it again.
Sir, it's not showing.
It's not showing. Okay. I thought. Is it showing now? Is it showing now?
No.
It's not showing?
No, it's kind of loading.
Okay, that means it's going to show. Okay, so like I was saying, it's about you and I working in the order of discovering different types of teams that we may find ourselves. So we have the team of individualists, then we have factional teams. Factional teams has to do with a team where everybody has different groups. Let's say we have a team of 12. You have 3 people in one group, they have the same ideology. We have other 3 people, we have other 3 people, just like factions. Such a team can't be effective because when this group brings up their idea and the other 2 group will reject it, in such case, there is not going to be a very effective achievement of the goals or the reason why the team was achieved. Then we have the conflict avoiding team. Conflict avoiding team is a team where everybody pretends everything is well. Everybody wants to do things that are right. Everybody wants to do things as if let me not offend my brother, let me not offend my sister. When you find such team, you think things are well, but actually things are not well. Then we have the indecisive team. Indecisive team is a team where people have not made up their mind if they have to join the team or not. They are just there because they have been appointed. And when you find such team, it's difficult. It's always difficult for you to achieve any aim because there is nothing really at stake. So we are just together, and that is how they run things, and that's how things are done. So it is important that we check the kind of team we are in, and probably we cannot look at how we can improve from having these types of teams to an ideal team. So the qualities of a successful team or an ideal team is that they have a common goal, just like a repetition. And if there's no common goal, then everyone will start doing whatever they like. And that's exactly why it is important that we must establish the clear vision. And this is the reason why you and I must start with the vision before assembling a team. All right. Then we have the next one. We have commitment. We must demand commitment from every team member. Then cooperation is also needed. Then we must ensure that there are laws that binds us as a team. There are laws that binds us as a team. Now, the laws of teamwork works anywhere, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in America, whether it's in Africa. The laws of teamwork is a principle that works anywhere. The first law, we have the law of significance. The law of significance states that one is too small a number to achieve greatness. The law of significance states that everyone in a team is important. Everyone in a team. Most times when I teach in this direction, I try to use the instruments we have at home to explain all of this. Now, for example, you are expecting a very special guest in your house, all right? And there are different instruments that will be needed to put your house in order. One of the instruments you will need is the broom. And is the broom or the vacuum cleaner, as the case may be. Now, you use the broom to take care of the living room to ensure that there is no dirt. Now, the moment you are done with the cleaning, you take your vacuum cleaner or the broom into a secret place. Now, when the guest comes, the guest will only appreciate the environment and say, wow, this place is very clean. But the person that did the job, that made it clean, is the broom. So the broom is significant in your house. You will not know how important the broom is until when there is dirt. So some people belong to a team, they feel they are not being used, they feel they are insignificant. After all, I just come, nobody is asking me to do anything. It is because that person have lost the understanding that in every team, no matter who you are as a team member, you are significant, you are important. There's always something you can do that will be relevant, but you may not always be at the spotlight. So the law of significance states that everyone is important. So nothing is too small, nobody is too small in a team. The second law is called the law of niche. What's the law of niche? The law of niche says that all players have a place where they add the most value. The law of niche is that there is always a position where you'll be needed most. For example, in church ministries now, we have the prayer warriors, we have the music ministers, we have the ushers, we have the sound engineers and all that. All right. Most times when the prayer warriors comes to pray, nobody sees them. Their values are needed in time of intercession. So when the stage is set, when the minister wants to sing, that's when the music ministers will come. So it is not that because you are not ministering when the stage is set, doesn't mean that you are not important. As far as you are doing your prayer work, as far as you are coming to clean the church, you are actually important, and there is a time that you'll be needed. So stick to your time. So when you find a prayer warrior or an usher coming late to church, he doesn't understand the law of niche, that the time you are needed is before the service, it's not during the service. So you must understand that as a team member, that when is the most important time am I needed in this team? This is the reason why some people today, they belong to a team, but they are irrelevant because they don't know when they are most needed. They come when they are not needed. And that's why it's very important you work on the law of niche. The law of the chain. What's the law of the chain? the law of the chain says that the strength of a team is imparted by its weakest link. In other words, if you want to know how strong a team is, you have to check the weakest person. Now, you must understand this, that in a team, we have the weak and the strong people. So you mustn't only focus on those that are strong, you must also give attention to those that are weak. So the law of chain says that you must ensure that the weakest link are always protected and they are preserved. That you find in the book of Romans when Paul was talking about the parts of the body, the importance of every part of the body, that even the weakest has more honorable expression according to how God made it. For example, our eyes is very, 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 very fragile. But do you know that the eyes is very, very important too? Like the hand is strong, you can punch the wall with your hand, but when it comes to your eyes, it's very weak. But it has its own significant role. So you must protect your eyes with your hands or with anything that is within you, because you understand that every part is important. Then we have the law of the bad apple. As a team leader, you must understand that the law of bad apple states that rotten attitude ruins a team. When one apple gets spoiled and you add more apples to it, within days, all the other apples will get spoiled. What it means is that when you find somebody with a rotten attitude, you have to deal with it. You have to deal with it. That is why in the church, there is what we call discipline, suspension, and all of that. Now, you do not condone rotten attitude because you want to build a team. But there are ways you deal with rotten attitude. So that you are trying to let everybody come together doesn't mean that you should allow rotten attitude to ruin the team. So if someone is acting against the constitution or the culture of the team, then you have to address it if you want to have an effective thing. Then the law of communication, which is interaction first action. It means that you must allow consistent discussion among the team. And this is exactly what we are going to be dealing with in our second section. So I would like to play a short video, and I hope as we listen to this short video, we would be able to and give one or two comments. Okay, so listen. Please, if you can see my video, just let me know.
The turtle and the rabbit both agreed on a route.
You can see it, sir.
The rabbit shot ahead and ran briskly for some time. Then, seeing he was far ahead of the turtle, a turtle and a rabbit stood under a tree for some time and relaxed before continuing the race. They decided to settle the argument of the race, and the turtle and the rabbit both agreed on a route. The turtle started on the race, overtook him, and soon finished the race. The rabbit shot ahead and ran briskly. The rabbit woke up and realized that he'd lost the race. Then, seeing he was far ahead of the turtle, is that slow and steady stood under a tree for some time and relaxed before continuing the version of the story that we've all sat under the tree. But our version of the story continues. The rabbit was disappointed at losing the race, and he did some thinking. And soon fell asleep. The turtle, plodding on, overtook him and soon finished the race, emerging as the undisputed champ. The rabbit woke up and realized that he'd lost the race. The moral of the story is that slow and steady wins the race. This is the version of the story that we've all grown.
Please, I'd like to play it again. I'd like you to listen. Thank you.
Once upon a time, a turtle and a rabbit had an argument about who was faster.
still hasn't ended. The turtle and rabbit by this time had become pretty good friends, and they did some thinking together. Both realized that
I'm sorry, I was told that you guys were not hearing. Please, I'll play again.
once upon a time, a turtle and a rabbit had an argument about who was faster. They decided to settle the argument with a race. The turtle and the rabbit both agreed on a route and started off the race. The rabbit shot ahead and ran briskly for some time. Then, seeing he was far ahead of the turtle, he thought he'd sit under a tree for some time and relax before continuing the race. He sat under the tree and soon fell asleep. The turtle, plodding on, overtook him and soon finished the race, emerging as the undisputed champ. The rabbit woke up and realized that he'd lost the race. The moral of the story is that slow and steady wins the race. This is the version of the story that we've all grown up with. But our version of the story continues. The rabbit was disappointed at losing the race, and he did some thinking. He realized that he'd lost the race only because he had been overconfident, careless, and lax. If he had not taken things for granted, there's no way the turtle could have beaten him. So, he challenged the turtle to another race. The turtle agreed. This time, the rabbit went all out and ran without stopping from start to finish. He won by several miles. The moral of the story? Fast and consistent will always beat the slow and steady. It's good to be slow and steady, but it's better to be fast and reliable. But the story doesn't end here. The turtle did some thinking this time and realized that there's no way he can beat the rabbit in a race the way it was currently formatted. He thought for a while and then challenged the rabbit to another race, but on a slightly different route. The rabbit agreed. The turtle and rabbit started off. In keeping with his self-made commitment to be consistently fast, the rabbit took off and ran at top speed until he came to a broad river. The finishing line was a couple of kilometers on the other side of the river. The rabbit sat there, wondering what to do. In the meantime, the turtle trundled along, got into the river, swam to the opposite bank, continued walking, and finished the race. The moral of the story? First, identify your core competency, and then change the playing field to suit your core competency. The story still hasn't ended. The turtle and rabbit by this time had become pretty good friends, and they did some thinking together. Both realized that the last race could have been run much better. So, the turtle and rabbit decided to do the last race again, but to run as a team this time. They started off, and this time the rabbit carried the turtle till the riverbank. There, the turtle took over and swam across with the rabbit on his back. On the opposite bank, the rabbit again carried the turtle, and they reached the finishing line together. Both the turtle and rabbit felt a greater sense of satisfaction than they'd felt earlier. The moral of the story? It's good to be individually brilliant and to have strong core competencies. But unless you're able to work in a team and harness each other's core competencies, you'll always perform below par, because there will always be situations at which you'll do poorly and someone else does well. Teamwork is mainly about situational leadership, letting the person with the relevant core competency for a situation take leadership. And that is the end of the story.
Thank you very much. Our time is fast spent. I really would have loved to take some feedback from
Maple
us.
Leaf Learning.
So I believe that we are all going
The
to
rabbit.
share on this tomorrow. We're going to share on this tomorrow. And for that, I want to make 1 or 2 comments on the video. The video you watch, the moral of the story is this, that leadership is not about title. Leadership is not about the first. Leadership is not about the biggest, the tallest, the best. Leadership is about situations. Situations determines who takes the lead. One of the problems that we find in team work is this, that the leader always wants to be the one who supersedes, and sometimes it creates problem for the team. Let's say, for example, you are a leader of a team, and as a leader of the team, your core competency is prayer. It's prayer. You are very good in prayer. That is the skill that you have. Then you have opportunity to relate with an external body on behalf of the team, and you have somebody within the team who is very articulate in communication. Then at that point, you should drop your leadership title and allow the person who can articulate in communication to take over. Because the problem most of us have is this, is that we always want to claim our leadership. We always want to prove to the people that we are the leader. So what the video portrayed was that the Toto and the rabbits, all right, they had different routes of the race, and in some routes, the Toto won. In some routes, the tortoise won. So it is not just about I am good. It is about harnessing each other's ability. So these are some of the stuff that a lot of people struggle with while they are building teams, and it makes them have issues. So I believe that as we do much more today, we are going to also learn so much about team diseases. So I will take a few minutes to deal with this, let's say in 10 minutes. But yesterday we didn't have so much questions. So let me drive through so we can take our questions and probably conclude tomorrow. All right. So in every team, just like we have the human body, and teams also have diseases. And this is the reason why a lot of people today find it difficult to work in teams, because of the diseases that they find in their teamwork. So it's true that every team has their own disease, and a disease is an ailment that affects the productivity and well-being of a person. Also in a team, when a team has disease, it affects their productivity. And this is the reason why it's crucial for us to deal with the team sicknesses. Okay, so if you look at a team, most times it comprises of different people, and when there is these sicknesses in a team, it affects the performance level of the team. A disease, as a disease makes your body not functional, so it is. Now, and that is the reason why we as a people, we must continue to allow people, to express themselves anytime they join our team. And it's good. All right. So now, what are the diseases you can find in a team? What are the diseases you can find in a team? We take the first one, which we call the absence of trust. Absence of trust. When you are in a team where people don't trust themselves, then that team cannot perform so well. When this occurs among team members, it can be disastrous. This stems from their unwillingness to be vulnerable within the group. When you are in a team where everybody is secretive, everybody wants to keep to themselves because of what has happened previously. Everybody wants to be in a good book of everybody. At the end of the day, everybody becomes deceivers. When there is no trust, when people cannot trust you with their secrets, that team will not be effective. The second one is the fear of conflict. Fear of conflict is that when you do something in a team and you are attacked, next time you don't want to do anything that will cause people to attack you. That is what we call fear of conflict. Teams that lack trust are incapable of engaging in unfiltered debate of ideas. Instead, they resort to veiled discussions and guided comments. When you are in a team where everybody's trying to be nice, nobody wants to really say things the way they are, I tell you that team cannot be effective. Somebody is not doing something nice. For you to speak out straight, you are trying to say, you are beating around the bush instead of addressing the situations on ground. In such situation, that team cannot achieve her goal. Lack of commitment, we've talked about that before. When people are not committed, then they won't be able to give account of what they are doing. When you avoid accountability, don't expect the best from a team. Team will only be effective when there is accountability, where people come to give reports of each assignment that they are beginning to do. Then another reason why people don't give account is when the team don't care about results. As far as somebody has been sent to do anything, all right, nobody wants to know if the person actually did it well or not. When a team is under that kind of scenario, it becomes difficult for there to be an effective delivery of result or the progress of the team. So team members put their individual need above collective goal of the team. So when there is no attention to result, that is actually why Nigeria is what it is today. That's why Africa is what it is today, because there is no attention to result. You see a state governor coming to commission a project, and the project will have a signboard that this project will take 24 months. And after 24 months, the project is still not delivered. Nobody goes to find out why. So in so doing, you can't have the best from such thing. So whatever team you find yourself in, you must ensure that you deal with these 5 diseases that have been mentioned. And I want to mention them again. We have absence of trust, we have fear of conflict, we have lack of commitment, we have avoidance of accountability, and inattention to result. So if your team must be effective, there must be trust among the team members. Then they mustn't be afraid to offend each other, in as much as they are doing it in a good spirit to ensure that the goal or the purpose why the team is formed is being established. Number 3, there must be commitment. Everybody must be committed to something. That's why sometimes when you ask people to say, they'll say they have said, oh, no, as a team member, you must always have your own input. Yes, your input may be different from others. It doesn't mean you should be able to express how you see issues. Then avoidance of accountability. A lot of people don't want to give accounts. All right, you have been given a task and money have been given to you. Now come and give account. You think, oh, they don't trust you. That's why they are saying, I should come and give account. When such things happen, there's no way that family can move forward. Husband and wife, you have a project you are doing, money have been vected on that project, and the money was given to the man. And the man went ahead to execute the project. Now come and give account. You are saying, oh, my wife doesn't trust me. No, it's not about trust. It's about ensuring that we are working together as a team. So inattention to results. So when you don't give account, then there is no need to know if we are making progress or not. So this is some reasons why people don't have effective teams, not because they don't know how to assemble people together, but because they don't have effective teams. And so when people have ego, no, you cannot query the superior, then I tell you, it will affect the standards of the team. And that is the reason why we have a lot of teams that are not performing well. May God bless and keep us and establish his word in our heart in Jesus' name. I started by saying that Jesus, in his own anointing and glory, is sought for a team. God works in teams. God never called us to work alone. He has called us to work with people. He said, can two work together except they be in agreement? So if you don't want to work with people, then you cannot achieve what God has called you to do. So team building is necessary, is compulsory for anyone that wants to achieve a dream that God has put in his or her heart. May God bless and keep us in Jesus' name. Amen.
More grace, more anointing in Jesus' name.